Okay, Evan says, hey crew, wondering what your opinions are regarding rank and rent. How do we go about securing GMBs, service area? And do you find clients first before launching the site? Not sure on the order, as I want to have paying customers first, but they will likely want to see rankings before going ahead. Yeah, for rank and rent, obviously that's, I mean, I say obviously, but you asked the question, so it's not obvious. It's not obvious, obviously. Yeah, I mean, rank and rent, that's the whole point. You rank it first, and then you produce the asset, get it ranking, and then it's much easier generally to get to rent out the asset on a monthly basis, or to do pay per lead. Or there's the way that I like to monetize my lead gen assets is revenue share, which is where I get a percentage of all the closed leads. So the revenue generated from any job that gets sold. But yeah, it's become a lot more difficult to get GMBs for sure. You can still go with rank and rent doing organic stuff, but it has definitely gotten a lot harder to get Google business profiles because of video verification stuff, which makes sense. Google's cracking down on that. We've gotten away with it for years, but the only thing I could suggest about rank and rent, which that's, again, that's one way to do it, but you can also do pay per lead, and there's a number of ways to monetize that sort of thing. But rank and rent is a good strategy, but you may have to go with just organic stuff for now. The thing about that, though, is you can, if we have to evolve and change our strategies, guys, it is what it is. That's part of the business, right? That's part of what we have to deal with. It's always a cat and mouse game in SEO. So the thing is you can use rank and rent like organic sites to land clients that have Google business profiles. So real valid businesses that then you can get them on a retainer basis, or you can work out even like a hybrid model where you tell them, like, let me give you an example. If you go out and rank a website or for organic, because you can do that without a Google business profile, right? So you go out, build a site, rank it organically, and it's going to generate some leads, not near as much as Google business profiles do. There's no question, at least in the industries like service area businesses, which are what I'm in. Then yeah, you're going to see that you can still, and with Google business profiles, that's where about 70% of the leads that I generate come from. Okay. But you can still get some leads from organic, and you can use the organic ranked site as kind of like proof that you know what the hell you're doing. And you can approach businesses that aren't in the Maps 3-pack and say, like, hey, look, I'm ranked number 1 or in the top 3 or whatever for these different keywords for your product, your services in your local area. And I see that you're not ranked in Maps. Would you like to work with me? Right? You could rent them that site that you have organically, and then you could talk to them about optimizing their Google business profile because they already have one. Right? It's just might not be in the top 3. So you don't have to worry about verification. You could even do a hybrid model, like I said, where instead of just on a normal traditional like monthly retainer, where like you're acting as an agency and they're your client, you could offer to do like, hey, look, I'll take over, optimizing your Google business profile and ranking it for you at my expense. But once it starts to rank, whatever leads are generated, you pay me on a pay per call basis or pay per lead basis. Does that make sense? So there's a number of ways to do it, right? You could do the normal traditional like agency client relationship where they're on a monthly retainer. You charge them, $1,000 a month or whatever to rank their Google business profile. In the meantime, they can rent or just pay per lead for the leads that you're generating from your organic site. Or you could do, like I said, some sort of a hybrid model where they rent the site from you, the organic site from you, for a flat monthly fee. And then you say, okay, I'll take over, and at my expense, I'll optimize and rank your Google business profile, but change the phone number to a tracking number, and all the calls that come in, you get paid for, right? So you get paid for all the qualifying calls. There's a number of ways to do that. But you got to get a little bit more creative. If you can't go out and create and secure Google business profiles right out of the gate anymore, because Google's put a stop to that, then you have to come up with alternative ways. And using organic sites is one way to do it. You could also do it with ads like Google ads and such, but it's so expensive. It's really hard to turn a profit for lead gen using Google ads. I found it's damn near impossible. So, I think the next best thing is to use organic rankings to start a conversation with those target prospects, and then you can work out an agreement with them that makes sense for both of you, right? If it's win-win. I like doing the like pay per lead or a hybrid model, a revenue share model, because then there's skin in the game, right? When you have a traditional like relationship, which is, retainer agency client model, then the client's going to pay you a certain amount every month, regardless of whether you're getting them results or not. Now, obviously, they're going to cancel with you if you're not getting them results. So your incentive is that you want to keep that retainer coming. But what about when you get them ranked and then they cancel on you? Like what happens to me a lot in the tree service industry, which is why I prefer to do with lead gen stuff, is I get every year, there's a lot of churn in the tree service industry, because if I get a client in the springtime and I rank them over the next, 3-4 months, I get them ranked, and then they're crushing it all year long. And then winter comes along at the end of the year, around November time, is when I start losing tree service clients, because things start to slow down and they all say, well, I'm going to cancel, but I'll be back in February or March, or, somewhere beginning of spring, I'll be back. But the problem is all the SEO work that I did typically sticks. And so March comes around, like it's March right now. And I had several tree service clients, again, do the same every year, same shit. Last year around November time, I had several different tree service contractors call and say, because it's the winter and things slow down, I don't want to be paying $1,000 a month. So we're going to suspend services now, but we'll come back in March. Well, here it is, the middle of March, and I haven't had a single fucking one of them, which happens every year, come back and say, okay, I'm ready to start SEO services again. Why? Because they're still ranked. Why would they need me? And so that's why I said I like to do some sort of different type of model than just, I'll still take on clients, don't get me wrong, but I don't like that, because they, especially when you do really good for them, a lot of contractors especially will just quit. They'll just say, hey, I'm already ranked number one. Why am I paying this guy anymore? And that's just, it's infuriating. So when it comes to like, how else could you monetize it? And that's where I think, so doing something where, you rank, you can do a rank and rent, or, on organically, okay, I'll rent you my site for $500 a month or whatever. And then I'll work on your Google business asset, but we're going to change the phone number to a tracking phone number so that I can track all the leads. Use something like what I do, which is high level. And I force all of my lead buyers to subscribe to my high level app, which is just a sub account that I create in high level for $100 a month. And that I use to track all the leads. That's our lead. I call it a lead management app, and it helps them to manage their leads as well. But it also enables me to be able to track all of the leads, inbound leads that are coming in from either phone calls or form fills. They all come into the high level account. And so I can see the status of that lead at any time. And if I'm charging on a pay per lead basis, I can charge accordingly, bill accordingly for that. But most of them I do revenue share model, because with revenue share model, they don't pay unless they close the sale. Like, in other words, they only pay for leads that made them money. And so it makes sense. And it's incentive for me to get the phone call rank, the phone ringing, and to help them get better at closing sales. And so that's part of the reason I like to use the lead management app, because it sends notifications to the customers and like automatically and all this other stuff. So it really does help them to be more efficient, to close more sales. And they have to pay $100 a month to use it, which covers my expenses for I use a call center. And it covers like the Twilio costs and a Google Workspace account and the email, stuff like that. But that way, again, it's incentive, right? It locks them in. Plus, they get used to using the app. And so even if they want to cancel, which they don't, because we have a good relationship, typically with that sort of when I'm generating a lot of leads for them and that sort of a relationship, then they don't want to cancel, because then I can pull the plug, right? And that's the whole point. You lock them in, but provide good service. But what I'm saying is, with a regular like agency client relationship, again, I see it every year. Every year I rank tree service contractors that are normal clients. And then I lose several of them. So there's always this churn. But on the lead gen side of things, generally, once I have a good lead gen arrangement with a particular contractor, they stick for years. And it's because, why wouldn't they, So that would be my advice to you, Evan, would be to try to, first get the rankings. Yes. Start with organic, but you can use that as a way to lock in Google business stuff on any number of ways that I just described. Okay. It was a good question, by the way.